Oh, chugging along with that solid fuel. Just wait till that nuclear fuel gets going. Nuclear fuel helps us weather the stops while every train waits for the other train to get out of the intersection. Hello everyone, Thranxes here, and welcome back to the Factorio Mega Factory Series Episode 3, where today we're going to be addressing the supply side of our raw materials, having fixed the production line into our robot factory. So you can see, we're pretty much fixed. Now, red circuits are still trying to catch up. The measurement is that blue only lights up when it is maxed for that material. So when this storage is full is when you get the blue light. The next one kicks in at G equals G. Right. Hold on. I'm trying to... There it is. Yeah, I was looking at the wrong one. Okay. So at 960,000, which is how much this buffer system holds, a little under 1 million red circuits, you get the blue light. After that, it goes down by 160,000. So the next jump is pretty significant, but then after that, it only goes down by 40,000. So the blue light and the first green light, there's a significant divide, but that's to let you know that when it's blue, you're really good. As long as you're just missing the blue light, though, you can assume your demand is not outpacing anything, and we're going to continue pushing that. You can see we're starting to use bricks now. Oop, copper's being requested from this storage now in high demand. And I don't know if they're going to have a lot of pit stops in between. We're getting some halos, so they've probably taken all the copper plates out of this storage now. Yep, this is empty. So at this point, that's what they're using to backfill the chests. Okay, so this section over here has caught up. This is what we did last episode. This is starting to back up. These trains will have minimal waiting now. This one is trying to keep these chests at their minimum of 2,000. The belt is still moving just fine, and there's plenty of raw copper coming in. So this belt is just being taxed really heavy, which if I remember, this belt is actually the only one that has 4 trains assigned to it. Every other delivery only has 3. But we're making a lot of green circuits. And then this one over here is going to green circuits, batteries, and more green circuits. Seems like the battery one isn't going to move as often, so maybe we should redirect one of these over to there. I'm thinking the robot copper doesn't go that often. It's just double green circuits and then the red circuit. Let's move the red circuit train. Let's change it to copper delivery 1 until inventory is full. Excellent. So now we'll push the train that's a little more active over here where all they were having to worry about was batteries and green circuits. Although I guess it's 6 of one, has half a dozen of the other, because now over here all they have are 2 green circuits, or 2 green circuits here, and then this one. But one of these copper for green circuits that are chasing blue circuits, if it ends up being too taxing, we'll rebalance it. But this should help it. This should help it catch up. Now, that being said, let's go ahead and we're going to continue research because we want to get to mining productivity 50. And then, thank you for stopping, train. We're going to set ourselves up to increase our raw material production. So we don't need a lot of these. We could load the trains like this at the raw ore side. Maybe. Let's keep that blueprint. No, we'll keep this blueprint. We'll scrap this one. So we're just going to go through and get our inventory all cleaned up. Get rid of all of this stuff that we don't need. We don't need these on us, or these don't need to be on us. Try to keep as much of the things that we might need. And then we're going to put in logistical requests for things that we need. And we can start getting rid of things that we don't. So we don't really need to have these on request anymore. In fact, instead what we want are, we're going to want quite a few railroad ties, and then let's see, what are our substations? Let's bump that up to 100. Large power poles will go up to 100. Medium power poles, we're going to go up to 100. Chain signals, we're going to bump up to 100, and then we're going to go ahead and request... Do we want to request some trains? Sure, some locomotives. I'll request 2 locomotives from the network, and cargo wagons will do 8. Yeah, 8 probably, just to make sure we have enough. Lights, and then we're going to need solar panels. So let's go ahead and request a few hundred of those. We'll go ahead and take these iron and copper plates off of our request list, and then accumulators, kind of the same thing. So we're going to allow the robots to sort of fill up our inventory with all of the things that we've requested. Lights, we're going to bump that up to about 100. And then we'll go ahead and we'll store this exoskeleton. We don't need it. These portable fusion reactors we don't need. I only need 100 construction robots on me because my Power Armor Mark II can only support so many construction robots at a time. We really don't need the pipes. We can go ahead and store those as well. I think that's good. That will get us started here. We can get rid of this. Okay. That'll do it. So let's go ahead and make sure they can take all the pipes and everything out of our inventory. Excellent. All right. Now I'm thinking the easiest iron to obtain is going to be up here. So we already have 1.9 million wired up. It's not a lot. There's 11 million here, though, and 10 million here. And what's that? 4.5, 5.2. This one's 4.4. A lot of good iron around here. These are the big ones, though. I want the 11 million and the 10 million. So we're going to run this set of train tracks up here, pull off the 10, then we're going to run this set of train tracks over here, pull off the 11, and probably run the 1.9 to merge with it. Might even just feed right off of where we're already at with this train line since we have the copper ore over there. And we're going to continue researching our productivity so that when we get to mining productivity 50, we will essentially have doubled all of the resources in a deposit. So this would be 22 million and 20 respectively. All right, let's get in our little vehicle, which I don't think we're going to use that fuel anymore. And it's got all kinds of weird stuff in the trunk. Why, I don't know. All right, so let's travel sort of to the edge of the factory. I don't think we're going to go all the way to the wall, but we're going to travel out beyond where the concrete starts to stop, is ending, where we go back to the grass, and this is going to have to be pulled up eventually. We don't really need the copper yet. Oof. Thought I was going to make that look graceful, didn't you? No, you knew better. You knew better. Are we on the nuclear fuel yet? Not quite. Alright, so these are the ends of the train tracks here. There's our nuclear fuel. Okay, so we've got some iron here. Pretty small deposit. Looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 belts in total. Let's go productivity 49. And then this is the one we want right here, which is going to be tough because it's kind of clobbered a little bit by this copper ore. But we're going to make it work. And then let's see. Then over here we have 10 million. Okay. Now our perimeter, I don't think we talked about the perimeter when we did the tour. Our perimeter of our base is pretty much maintained by laser turrets, which are fairly strong. Now, they do take some damage as they get overwhelmed. I think our laser turret damage, though, is up to 12. Yeah, we could easily do that. We could do 16,000 research in probably five minutes or so. But we've been trying to save our research and resources for the bigger research. Now, eventually, we are going to build the artillery. Destroy the tree. Destroy the tree. We're going to build the artillery and build a rail system that takes care of a lot of these bugs so that we can expand with impunity and look for truly massive deposits. However, for the time being, we're sort of restricted by this laser turret perimeter. Now, we can always push it out. We can always expand it. We have cleared a lot of areas out and named them for areas where we can build. But that's... today, we're just going to be getting resources inside our perimeter because, really, 10 million iron here and 11 million there. Once we double it, it's going to be more than enough. All right. So the easiest way to do extraction is to give yourself a little printout of drills and then have your robots copy it pretty much like normal. So if we come over here like this, and we just do this for the whole thing, try to keep it all nice and square. All right, we put this here. Nope. Like that. And like that. Okay. So we're going to get rid of these trees, which I don't care about. Perfect. And then we're just going to continue to get this section drilled up as best as we can. Right, so the idea is that if you go over anything, you don't worry about it because you'll just deconstruct whatever doesn't fit. So there's no reason to measure it all slowly and carefully like I was doing originally. And we didn't get enough drills. That's okay. So we'll put in a request from the network for 100 drills, and then we'll be squared away for next time. But we're going to go back in range and get more. For now, hey, mining productivity 50. That's great. Should we go for 51? Not just yet. Let's give everything a chance to catch up. So now we're just going to trim it down a little bit. Get it looking a little prettier, more the shape of the ore. And that one should grab, that one should grab. If it's going to grab any iron, even just a little bit, my inclination is to leave it and let it do its job. That one would grab iron, but such a small amount that I'm going to go back on immediately what I just said. Same with that one. That's a little less than I would like. And then here, 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 and here. As you can see, it's pretty quick. It's not a very slow process. It does all right. We're pretty much laid out now. Not quite. No, hold on. Not quite. Not quite. We have a little bit here that isn't going to be covered, and I want it to be. Let's do that. And then I think we'll cut it down like there. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this to the other one and gather back up my drills, since you know the basic idea, and then we'll talk about meeting the train up with it. Alright, so I came back here to get more drills and pieces after I blueprinted our extraction area for raw iron. And I realized that we're actually not keeping up with red circuit demand. Here, let's step out of the car for a second, because we need to address this. So right now, there is some backfill going on. These extra chests that we added are going to have to fill up, and that stores a lot of extra resources, so that's going to pull out of our buffer. But just the fact that the robots are still stripping out the chests to keep up with this requirement, to try to fill the back end of the cargo container up as fast as possible, tells me that even the little bit of research we were doing was straining a red circuit supply. Maybe not. It's filling up. It's getting close. So I think it's about, if this, I did the math, if you cut this box in a diagonal line like this, that's when you lose the second green light. So everything from half of this buffer all the way up to full is what you have to work on to get that blue light. And in some cases you can see like this is easy. This is going to fill up very quickly. So will the steel. Things like the blue copper is barely out of a blue light because it's just one little piece is being taken every once in a while. But other ones are actually far from their blue light, like the red circuit. We're going to have to keep an eye on this. I'm not going to mess with it too much right now. We're going to let it work. I believe the fix is good. But those logistics robots are really pulling from this buffer system, which is going to tax the copper and the copper really heavy because we're feeding it with green circuits, and then plastic. Plastic should be actually backing up though. Because the plastic should be, we're going to take a small detour and check on this stuff. Because we have to keep an eye on it to make sure our fix is sound. So plastic should not stop production anymore, and it is robot assisted, front loading its chests. It's using a lot though. We're using a lot of our plastic, and at this time, okay, so we caught up. So the coal is not going to run out anytime soon, and that's kind of what put our plastic in a bind, was that the coal had stopped moving. So as long as that's not the case, we should be okay. We might have to consider in the future a second red circuit production area, especially if we're going to expand our blue circuits. But that could be very taxing on our resources. We could be looking at another copper foundry if that ends up being the case. All right, so we're gonna head over here first and make sure that all of our pieces that we blueprinted out were built for this one. Did it not give me any more drills? I know I've got a request in for 100 drills. There's no way that was 100 drills. Okay, well, we're going to have to go back and get more drills now. Or no, you know what? We're not going to worry about that yet. All right, change of plans. Instead, let's work on the rail line. Okay, so the rail line blueprints actually we got off of FactorioBlueprints.com, I think it is. I'll try to remember to include a link in the description. But it's basically a whole lot of blueprints. In fact, that's where I put my Covarex enrichment and also my mega nuclear reactor blueprints was on that website. But from that website, what we got were a lot of blueprints. Some of these are ours, some of these are not. Now, this rail line that has solar panels and accumulators and everything built into it, that is not ours. I think the only thing we did that we modified it is we built in the automated crosswalk section so that doors come up and it attempts to stop the train. So we modified it for that. But other than that, yeah, all of these rail pieces are pretty much from the website. And unfortunately, I can't credit the person right now. I'll try to put that in the video when I'm editing to give them credit, because it really is a wonderful design. These railroads are really neat. So anyway, so let's start using them. I think the main piece we're going to need for here is going to be something like this. Maybe not. Because we already have this rail line here, and then over here we already have this rail line that leaves, and then we could just easily loop it back. Do we really need to bring the whole rail line up here? Maybe a little bit, maybe a little bit. Let's go ahead and reclaim this railroad. It's not serving any purpose. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to start with the crosswalk, actually, because we need one. We should have all the pieces for this. Should. Okay, we didn't have enough walls and doors. That's okay. We'll request more when we get back. Let's see. We don't need to put in a request for... Oh, radar. We need all of this stuff. We need a bigger queue box that we can request from. Let's go ahead and stop requesting those. And we'll change it to walls. Yep, 100 is good. And then we'll also stop. So we don't really need the factories right now. And that'll be our gates, 50. Okay, good. So that'll take care of us when we get back. And then over here, let's see, we're still a little bit off, although we could load the train here. Okay, so another thing we did to modify these railroad blueprints, there was one more. Yeah, we built this loop around. No, we didn't. We modified it right into this. There we go. All right, so from here you have, because the rails run one way, so both of these rails run this way and both of these run that way. You travel on the right side. We're going to actually need to bump this up to here, figure out where we're going to load everything. All right, now we already have a really great loading setup built, just like this. So let's go ahead and copy this just like that, right up to the splitter. Perfect. And then we're going to come over here where we are. Oop, we can exit the map mode though, completely. And say, okay, we could totally do it like this. But then how do we get back to the other side, right? Because the, well, we'll have to move the train. Okay, we'll move the, we could move the rail section. Right, so it's going to end up being like this. So let's put this down. Like this. Or maybe we should have moved it over here. Yeah, let's do that. Cancel, change of plans, change of plans. I'm sorry, but change of plans. No, we don't need you anymore. I'll save, hold on to that crosswalk though. So what happens when you get all these crazy blueprints floating around in your inventory? That's supposed to be what the blueprint book is for, but oh goodness, it just ends up, you need a separate blueprint book for everything. That's what it ends up being. I'm thinking like this. Use less belt, but use more train tracks. There's no reason to use up something that requires a lubricant to be synthesized. Alright, now for the train tracks, let's use this one. We're going to say nope, no to that train stop there. We're going to get rid of this signal here. And let's bend this down as much as we can, and then go like this. One, two, and then almost one more. Perfect, perfect. Okay, great. Now over here we'll get rid of this section of rail. And then we're going to give them a place to exit. Nope, too much. Using the rail lines can take a little bit of practice, but with the new mechanism they have in place to show you where you're drawing it out to, it can be really helpful. What's going on? Oh, we're out of battery. Yeah, we queued up our robots so much they can't quite keep up with the demand. They're like, hey, we're trying to charge, our batteries are dying. That's okay, don't sweat it. Let's get our belts. Where are our belts? So let's see what we have. This accepts 8. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 7. Well, we're just going to have to tie 7 into it. And go from there. Let's start with the obvious ones. Tie into the middle here. Down, over, like that. No, actually that kind of looks... That looks kind of yucky, actually. I don't really like that. I don't think that looks good. So we'll do it like that, which means this one will come down, over, and tie in. I guess we can go ahead and connect them. It doesn't really matter because there's no power. Okay, and we're starting to run out of pieces, but that's the general idea. And we could make a holding area so we can queue up 2 trains to this spot. So the best way to do that is let's get our trail signal in place. And of course it doesn't want to line up properly because of how it was laid out. It's okay, it should still connect. I guess we could move everything over. It's not centered, but it shouldn't be a problem. As long as it still has plenty of room. I wonder if the other one looks like that. So now I'm curious. Is it off-center? No, it's centered. It was just the way... It was because we switched it from one side to the other, perhaps. I'm not sure. In any event, this will be... Let's see. We're going to call this... Let's call this 10 million iron. Okay. And we're going to give ourselves a signal light so that another train can wait on the tracks. And then here. Hold on. There. And there. Just in case. Just, you never know. That way there's no possible way that we can queue up multiple trains on this setup and they won't get jammed up. Speaking of jammed up, let's go ahead and reroute some right now. So the first thing I want to do is I want to take one of these trains here. This one. You are looking to pick up iron. Instead of going to 13 mil, go to 10 million iron until your inventory is full. And you're also trying to pick up iron. Let's see, for your raw iron smelting 2, and this is going to raw iron smelting 1, so that would work. So we're going to reroute both of you, actually, to go 10 million iron until inventory is full. That should help eliminate this backlog, so now only one train should be coming here. Perfect. This one also needs a redirect. This one has 2 coming here. We need to pull one of those, and I think this signal is actually messing things up too. We might have to go over there and handle that. But for now, we're not set up here until we get power, so let's get some power. There we go. And there we go. So we still need to tie all of our belts together, and we don't have all of our belts set up yet. Okay, not a problem. We're going to take our vehicle back. Or we're not going to take our vehicle back. Instead, we're just going to run down because our vehicle is way over there. But we have all these exoskeleton legs, so it doesn't matter. Let's get on to the network until the robots give us the things that we need. And cancel that. We're not going to need that many, or that many. Go ahead and just wait. Where are my robots? There should be a whole army of robots heading to me. Well, that's a start. Where else is everybody? Oh, here they come. They were a little delayed. They were like, boss, we had to come from far away. That should be our drills. Right? Our belts. Let's ask for a few more belts. 500, 600. We'll ditch some of these accumulators. That'll work. Alright, perfect. Ooh, they're still ferrying copper up here to the copper supply line. That's fine. We have a lot of copper in storage. As long as there's enough roboports for them to keep up with demand, it won't matter. Right, so no matter which side gets pushed to 4 trains or 3, yeah, they're going to be the ones that have trouble keeping up. That's okay. That's okay. Right now we're going to get the raw iron squared away, and then we can start focusing on other things, because if the raw iron stops flowing, we're going to have much bigger issues. Plus, we also had a lot of questions during the tour of the base that I did a little bit with the stream, and then I also did some in the first episode here, or the nuclear reactor, the mega reactor video. I had a lot of people asking me, you know, what do your supply lines look like? How do you keep everything going? So thought we would showcase some of how we keep the chests full of materials. I think we're just going to have to split this one, to be completely honest. I think we're just going to split it. And then this one here is interesting. Let's go ahead and pull it here. Now, this splitter is going to make sure that all the chests get iron anyways, but once we start working more belts over to it, then it's going to perform even better. There we go. And this will work. So this will... Yep, all four are working. It's not centered perfectly, but that's okay. It still is going to fill it up with iron, raw iron fairly quickly. Not super fast, but it doesn't need to be super fast. And you don't need to have solid fuel on you anymore. Actually, you're gonna get nuclear fuel when you go back, so you just give yourself an open spot for it. You don't need my nuclear fuel. Because I need to put new trains on the network. It's not enough that we redirect old trains from old spots. We're actually going to need more trains because now we have a secondary steel smelting area that needs love. How are you doing here, actually? We've got one backlogged here. The rest seem to be going fairly well. And this section is all messed up. Okay, we need to finish what we're doing here so we can go help the other section. So these are going to merge together. So we're going to need a little bit of our deforestation. Just a little bit of deforestation, you know, just a little bit. Let's make sure all of our drills and belts and everything can get filled in. Okay, great. Now we're going to take... Ugh, my inventory is full. I guess we could just go within range. So many trees. Give me a roboport. I need to... Oh no, my vehicle. I'll stuff all my trees in the vehicle. Hold on, everybody. Hold on. Give me that. There we go. Same thing. We're just going to stuff the trees in the car. Okay, good deal. Actually, we should probably just keep the car close. Why not? We can stuff all kinds of stuff in the car. Okay. So we have our belts. We have a good bit of them, too. Let's just start running everything down. So we're talking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That doesn't look like it's necessary. Nope, I want that one, please. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so this is perfect. Kind of just like it is. No, actually. Hold up. We're undoing that. And this one can probably come over. Let's see. So the drills are going to have to go down here, but we don't want the drills to pick up copper. If they... There they are. If they start putting copper on our iron lines, we have problems. And you can see the little highlighted areas where they're going to pull from. So if we continued the pattern, they would absolutely pull copper up. So we're going to modify our pattern a little bit. Like that. And that will make it not as pretty, but there'll be no copper on the belts, and that's what matters. Let's cut it over and down. Okay, there's our 8 lines, and we actually have more over here. This is sort of a small deposit, though. 1.9 million. Thinking we can join these belts together. Let's look at our train blueprint. Where is it? No, not that one. That's a pretty one, though. In fact, yeah, we're going to go ahead and add that one to the list. Okay, right? It got added. Yes, already exists. Good. So the one we need is... We could do the splitter. This one. Okay. So we could run the rail up here, merge all the belts over here. I think that's the proper answer. All right, let's start building it. And then we're going to get all of our belts, and let's just let the robots do their thing. We're going to have to go back and get more. I needed to bring a lot more with me in the vehicle. That's okay. For now, we'll get the rail lines situated, because there's still a lot we can do. So I wanted to just spike off of that, though. That doesn't really sit well with me. What I'm looking for is more of a... we could do that. No, I was thinking I like this as an ending. But in order to get there, we have to get... Yeah, see, this one would not even overlap. We would have to put a square and then another one, and that's not going to work. That is way, way, way too much. We could angle it. Let's see how this works. Could angle it up. Nope, angle it up goes like this. And then give ourselves our little end cap, which I think is the correct answer. There we go, got the train squared away. And then from here we can put our little end cap on it, which I swear we just had. Don't need you. Must have taken it off. There it goes. Okay. And look at that, it almost lines up. Almost. Oh, I'm tempted to tear it up and do it again. In fact, I'm going to. Because having this thing line up is kind of pretty looking. I'm a fan. Let's get our... Nope, we don't need you anymore. That's fine. This one. So it's going to be lined up with that perfectly to go there. There we go. Just shuffled things over just ever so slightly, but the end result is that it just joins up straight with that one. And so now we can take this railroad over here from this side, and we're going to work it up. And then over. Ooh, just one, and then down. Oops. You get the idea. Fixed and fixed. And we've got a little rail signal, a train stop on the wrong side. That's not going to work. Let's put it on the proper side, so then it has to be down here, which means it's going to be off balance again. Arrgh! That's okay. I'm okay with that. This one is going to be 11 plus 1.9. We're just going to call it 13 million iron. Bingo. And now we just have to merge these belts together, and we can start getting trains over this way. So let's see. Do we have the belts? We do not have the belts. We're going to need many more than this. And we're going to have to find a clean way to merge 6 into 8 to then split it off again. Not sure how we're going to do that. I'm going to run back to base and get us some more supplies, and I will bring you right back. Okay, we're back. We've got lots more supplies, and my plan is to take these rows that have very little to contribute in the way of ore and merge them with a heavier row. That's my plan. So I'm thinking something like this. Right, so that puts us down to 1, 2, 3, 4 here, and I did that with this one over the edge, puts us 7 here. We can easily merge these two in a similar fashion. So we'll get the belt headed this way. Down like that, splitter. So now we're talking 4 and 6. So now we're down to 10 belts. Even better. Oops, building taking damage. We are going to have to assess the perimeter at some point. Bugs are hitting us in a lot of areas, quite frequently. likely due to all the new factories and pollution that we're putting out. So that's 4. If we could get this one down to 4, that would be great. But this mine is going to run out much quicker than the other one. So I'd almost like to leave that one at 6 and merge this one down to 2. Think this way and this way are how we're going to do that. No, I want to keep my splitter on my hotbar. Okay. So I'm thinking we'll cut down and then we'll join with this one. Similarly, we're going to cut up and join with this one. And now we just have 2 belts to contend with. Boom, like that. 2 belts and 6 here. So let's start joining them. Let's see what that looks like. This one's going to cut over first. Down 1. We'll cut here. Over 2. We can join these, are going to come up, and these are going to be the bottom ones. One and 2. Then from over here, it's just a matter of continuing the trend. There, it's 5 belts in total. I'm going to make these kind of all travel together because that looks nice. 6 belts. That'll be 7. That will be 8. Okay, so now that we've done this, we're going to have to put power onto everything, but then we're going to talk about why, or which trains, rather, we're going to run over in this direction. Let's get some power poles connecting us to the grid. That one will work, and then we're going to need one kind of over here like this, and then we're going to need one sort of over here like this. Hey, and we're online. Look at that. Look at that. Marvelous. Everything's running, so we're going to countermand some trains out of their current position. No trains on this stop. Well, these trains over here, which are consistently hung up in this area, which is almost out of iron, are actually both going to... oh, no, one's going to iron smelting, one's going to steel smelting. Well, this one that is going to steel smelting is going to be redirected to 13 million iron until inventory is full. Why can't you do that? No path. Why is that? 13 million iron. Oh, I know. Because we need a train stop. Hold on, because we'll be able to queue up quite a few with this one. We'll have one train stop here. Right, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 here. And this signal's on the wrong side. Ha 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 ha. There. We'll actually be able to have quite a few trains hanging out on this one, and that should have allowed our steel smelting train to truck along. Okay, and that also freed up the little copper backlog there. Where's our other steel smelting? This one is doing steel smelting. That's okay. So now we should have, if we go to our steel foundry, we should have one train coming here. No. Both trains are coming here. And it's struggling to keep up. That's interesting. Well, we're going to do a new train. We're going to do a new train here, right? So we're going to put one train, and then let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 cargo containers. We're going to give you some nuclear fuel. And you're going to go to Let's see, we want 13 million iron until inventory full, followed by raw steel smelting number 2 until empty. And let's do it. So now this train has 2. I don't like to give deposit stops more than 2 trains. I find that causes a lot of issues. We still need more iron trains for steel. We could borrow these. But I think at this point you've got the idea of how I like to set up our resource gathering to bring into the factory. So I'm going to do that off camera in between this episode and the next episode, but instead we're going to travel down here to this area and see what's going on down here, because that was our original deposit. We had a couple of really large ore deposits there, and now that they're drying up, we're sort of going after the less rich ore deposits, and so we're sort of chasing the dragon. We started out with the best, and now we're trying to make ends meet with other deposits. So what that means is we're going to have to expand the base eventually. We're not there yet, though. We would like to eventually get to the point where we're producing artillery and expanding the perimeter of our base significantly to look for the very serious and rich deposits. But we need to get all of our production squared away before we can do that. How are we looking here? Buffers are pretty much full. The trains are still running. Green circuits look like they've backed up. Hold on, let's take a peek. Green circuit dedication is really close to being full. And then let's see what else. What about green circuit assembly? Not running much. Just a couple of arms moving, so it's getting close too. Plastic is still struggling to keep up. If we make a second red circuit factory, we're going to be hurting in a big way, because at that point we're going to have to look at more plastic production, more green circuit production, probably more copper smelting. I dare say this is max capacity for what our copper production can handle. Resources are coming in pretty good, though. None of these trains seem hung up or caught up anywhere. Everybody's going and doing their thing. Now, wait a second. How many trains are stopping here? 2. And how many are stopping here? 2. Okay. Just making sure. Sadly, we need more copper. We'll be good with copper for a little bit. We do have this 11 million here we can rig up, and we can probably do that fairly easily. I mean, the foundry's right here. But let's go look at our far area. So what I want to do, actually, where are you headed? Who's going to 5 million? 23. You're the one I want. Just go ahead and get your solid fuel out. You don't need that anymore. Actually, I should do the same thing over here to you. There we go. We can be busy and getting things done while we're over here waiting for our ride. Look at that. Everybody's off of the solid fuel. Do me a favor. Go pick your stuff up. I know you're not ready, but I want you to go anyways. We need a ride. We're not trying to watch the whole thing. All right, let's go to copper pickup, 23 million. Oh, chugging along with that solid fuel. Just wait till that nuclear fuel gets going. Nuclear fuel helps us weather the stops while every train waits for the other train to get out of the intersection. So the more trains that have nuclear fuel, there we go. Now it's picking up speed. 250% acceleration is pretty significant when you're hauling 4 cargo containers behind your locomotive. You can always add more locomotives if speed is really a factor, but look at that. Look at this buffer system is just slammed full. So right now we're pretty much smelting copper as fast as possible. It seems silly to straighten this area out because we've reduced this down to 1 train. And that's steel smelting. Now this is iron smelting. Steel smelting is the one down here in the south. As long as there's just one. Oh, are you using solid fuel? You are. Have yourself a nuclear container. It's going to take the trains forever to burn through their natural solid fuel, so we need to swap them out every chance we get. Whew, that one's got nuclear fuel. Oh, my robots left me to gather trees. No! Oh well, they're going to have trouble keeping up now. Oh, did it get to the... It did. Now it's using the fuel rod. We just ride these trains just constantly. It's so much fun. Perfect. How are you doing? Are you using solid fuel? You are. That's not acceptable anymore. Solid fuel is out. Nuclear fuel is in. Silly goose. How do you still have coal? To 10 million iron? That's this one, isn't it? Wow. I don't know how you had coal, but that's not acceptable. All right. Looking at the time, I think that's where we're going to wrap things up. I'm going to go ahead and connect the next raw iron section. Probably try to pull the train tracks up and then tap both of these for ore. At which point we're going to need a new copper section, which will probably light this one up, just to make sure our supply lines for raw iron and raw copper are fully saturated and none of the belts are going dry. Otherwise, we're not getting a good measurement of our delivery system and how ahead it's able to stay. Now, that being said, this has been Factorio Mega Factory Series Episode 3. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you've had a good time watching because, as always, I've had a good time playing. So come back next time as we continue to work on improving the infrastructure of our base. But until next time, take care.